Welcome to the Daily Word. My name is Apostle Clement MBUYI, Senior Pastor of International Tree of Life Church. I have a word of encouragement for you this morning about 3 facts about your destiny that you should know. Let us go in the book of Psalm 139. We're reading from verse 13 to verse 16. Hear what the Bible says. You made all the delicate innate part of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in the utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. Verse 16, you saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. God has a purpose for your life. It doesn't matter what you're going through right now. You may say it's the pandemic. Everybody around the world are dealing with something. But let me tell you this morning that your destiny, it's not according to the circumstance, according to the event that are happening around the world. God has his own timing for you and your family. And the number one thing you should know about your destiny is destiny. Listen to this. Every man born of a woman have a purpose, have a destiny. God has a plan for your life. And the Bible say here that you saw me before I was born. Remember what God said to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, since you were in the womb of your mother, I knew you and I have called you to be a prophet to the nation. You are not here on earth by accident, but you are here to fulfill God's purpose. It doesn't matter what is happening right now around the world. God has his own time. God has his own clock. And the Bible say, do not lean on your own understanding, but trust the Lord in all the process, and he will make your path straight. So if you were born of a woman, like every man on earth, you have a purpose. A lot of time we tend to look at what other people have accomplished or established. But you have to know that we all don't start the same day. But what is important is how you finish. You may say, Pastor, this morning, I'm 65 years old. I'm 55 years old. I miss my time up there. No, remember when God called Abraham, Abraham was old and God gave him a promise because Abraham came on earth to fulfill God's plan. So God does not work according to our age, but it's about the decision that you're about to make, which leads us to the second fact that you should know about your destiny. Remember, your destiny has been predetermined by God. It doesn't matter when it's going to come to pass. No, on your time, but God's time. God does not have the same clock that we have. Sometimes we say it's taking too long. But remember, your destiny, it's already written in the book. There is several books in heaven. And that book, when you are born again, when you give your life to Christ, your name is written in that book of life. And there is also what we call the Book of Remembrance. The Book of Remembrance is every action and act that you have paused toward the kingdom of God. Remember when the angel came to see Cornelius, he said, Cornelius, I was sent by God because your prayer and your action have come as a memorial to the presence of God. And the Bible say when the prophet Isaiah came in the palace to talk to King Ezekiah, he said, give order to your house because you're going to die today. The Bible say that King Ezekiah turned to the wall and prayed to the Lord and remind God about the goodness that he has done for the kingdom. And the Bible says sometime later, God told to Isaiah, go back and tell him that he will not die, but he will live. I will add 15 more years to his life. God has a purpose for your life. Your destiny is not determined by any mankind, but was predetermined by God. But let me tell you something about that. Even though your destiny is predetermined by God, it will require your decision and your choices that you're going to make in life in order to fulfill that destiny God has for you. Many people have made bad decisions in lives, but God is still give them a second chance. You may be watching me right now. You say, I've done so many bad things in my life. Remember Paul in the Bible. The Bible says he was a murderer. He was a persecutor. But the Bible says one day his life changed, and God had a plan for Paul when he met Jesus on his way to Damascus. Jesus said, enter in the city and they're going to tell you what to do. And the Bible says from that day forward, Paul made a decision to follow Jesus, because Jesus said to Ananias, Paul is an instrument that I want to use for my glory. You are an instrument. No matter what men say about you, many people may say, your time has passed. But I came to tell you this morning that God still have a plan for you. And your choice and the decision that you're going to make today will help you enter in the plan of God. Let me tell you another thing. The Bible says that God gave a prophecy to Israel. He said to Israel, he said to Moses, go tell Pharaoh to let my people go so I can take them to the promised land. But remember, many Israelites did not make it to the promised land because many of them, they made their own choices and decisions, and many perish in the wilderness. It doesn't have to be your case. Your life can change today by your choices and decision. Many people waste their time. Remember, God is spirit. God have all time in the world, but we are human. We can only live a certain number of years here on earth. Why are you wasting time with people around you that cannot move you forward? Now, look at this. The third fact about your destiny can either be fulfilled or can be either aborted. The choice is yours. God cannot force us into something, but God always gives us a choice, and that choice is yours today. And let me give you a few of the examples. The reason why your destiny can be aborted and can be fulfilled. The reason why it can be aborted, number one, this is the main reason many people fail in their destiny, is because of excuses. How many excuses have you given to people not to achieve greatness? You always blame somebody. Remember, the blaming game did not start today. When God came to Adam, he said, Adam, what have you done? He said, no, Lord, it's the wife that you give me. It's Eve. That is the problem. And when God turned to Eve, Eve said, no, God, it's not my fault. It's the serpent to blame. We always in life blame somebody for our failure. We blame even people who are already dead in our family. We blame witches and wizards who are no longer living. But the decision is yours today. Stop giving excuses. Because if you look for excuses, the enemy will always find one to give you. You know, the reason why I didn't succeed is because I didn't go to the best school. There are people who are very successful today in life. They never went to big schools. They went to a small college, but they were able to exploit the gift and the talent God has given them to achieve greatness. And God has a purpose for your life. So stop giving excuses. Let me read the definition of excuses. Listen to this. Excuses is a justification for not striving higher. The inability to take responsibility for your life and the outcome. You got to be responsible. I heard a story about a lady who was a single mom. She was a homeless. But listen what happened. She decided one day, she said, I can't live my life this way. Something must happen. And she made a decision to go to school. She found a way for someone to help with her child. And she was taking night class. She didn't give excuses. She started small step by getting her GED. You know, many people didn't get to finish high school, but there is always a second opportunity. You know, it's many times people laugh when you say, I'm taking a GED class. But let me tell you, the Bible says that God is a God of small beginning, small step. And the step to greatness is when you start small by getting your GED. And then when she did that, it opened door for her for college. And then she went to college and she got a scholarship because she was doing so well. And now she went to university, to a law school. And today she practiced as a lawyer and her life changed. She changed the course of her destiny by the decision and the choices that she made when she made the decision to go back to school. She didn't use excuses like many say, I'm a single mom, I'm a homeless. Yes, there are other people who went through the same process, but one day they decided enough is enough and their life will change around. Now look at the second thing that can prevent you from fulfilling your destiny. Now look at this. The second thing is many people violate the law of process. Everything God created go through the process. When we talk about the law, the principle of seeding and reaping, a farmer cannot place a seed. That seed has to go through a process in the ground in order for that seed to bring harvest. So there is a law of process. When sometime in the process, it can be difficult. Life can be hard, but don't give up, because as long as God is with you, you are called to achieve greatness. Some of you may be discouraged. You may think that the process is taking longer, but remember, any shortcut doesn't always end up well. That's why God does not like shortcut, but God is a God of small step. So by taking small step, the vision have to go through a process. And that process, no matter how long it's going to take, is going to prepare you for victory. I always look at it this way, 3 parts: the vision, the valley, and the victory. And the vision is what you're trying to achieve, what you receive from God, your purpose here on earth. But that vision have to go through the valley. And the valley is a time of where you are strengthened, when you are prepared. Just like Joseph. Joseph's destiny was in the palace. But every step when God took Joseph in Egypt, being in the house of Potiphar, it was a process, because Joseph had to learn the culture, the language of the Egyptian, if he was going to become a second commander-in-chief in Egypt. He went through the process, even though that process was long, but that process was right, because when the right time came, he was prepared for victory. God is going to prepare you during the process so that you can achieve greatness. And during the process, learn something. Add a skill to what you already know. The lockdown, the pandemic was a good opportunity for you to add a skill to your resume, because when doors begin to open, organization and business will look at what skill do you have. And because you were able to add a skill during the lockdown, that can open door for you. And every skill that you add to your knowledge will just bring good things and will bring increase into your life. And the last thing I would like to talk about, the reason why many people fail in life or cannot fulfill their destiny, is because they live in their past failure. What has happened yesterday is past. What happened 2 years ago, it's past. What happened in the past hour is past. But one thing is good is you got to learn how to focus on the things ahead of you. There's so many things happened during the pandemic, and it's still happening. You can't live in the past. You got to focus. The reason why you're still alive is because God has many things that He wants to do in your life. Don't let the pandemic break you down. Don't let the pandemic hold your blessing. This is what Paul say in the book of Philippians chapter 3 verse 13. He say, don't let your past hold you, but focus on the things ahead of you. That will help you. What happened in the past? Many people still living in the past, and they miss their destiny. They miss the blessing God has for them. Move on from your past. I know sometimes it can be difficult. I know sometimes people have done many things to you, but you got to let it go. Otherwise, if you don't let it go, what unforgiveness will do is it's going to put you in a spiritual jail, and you will remain there. But today you can take control of your own life by forgiving somebody. People who have wronged you in the past, forgive them and focus on the things on the vision God has for you and look at the things ahead of you. God bless you, and I will see you next time on the Daily Word. Remember, God has a destiny for you and your family. God bless you, and you have a wonderful day.